finest rhyme when I was obsessed with time. All I know, time was just slipping away, and I watched it count down till the end of the day. Watched it watch me, and the words that I say, the echo of the clock rhythm in my veins. I know that I didn't look out below when I watched the time go right out the window. Trying to grab home, trying not to watch. I wasted it all on the hands of the clock. But in the end, no matter what I pretend, the journey is more important than the end or the start. And what it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried it so hard and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
It's here, my Death Stranding review. We're going to have like a really cool format, and I've actually ripped it straight from a magazine I used to read years ago. It's called GamePro, where they broke it down with graphics, gameplay, sound, and shit like that. I feel like reviewers need to kind of like go and, review things like that, review it that way. Because there's a lot to talk about, but I definitely don't want to waste anyone's time by making a large video. So here's a sample of what it would look like. You got your graphics, you got your sound, you got your gameplay, you got your fun factor. Challenge I won't really do, but let's start off with the graphics. I mean, what is there to say about the graphics here? It's powered by one of the most powerful engines, the Decima engine. You can clearly see right here, it has a lot of potential. I mean, it was one of the reasons why the game was actually realized the way that it has been. One of the things that really stand out, I mean, because someone can say that it's an empty world anyway, you know what I'm saying? One of the things that stand out is character models. I've never seen any character models that tricked me on first glance, other than racing games, that was a real person. You know what I'm saying? But it's been, exhaustively expressed in many videos, including this channel. I have a video specifically talking about the graphics here, and I don't want to waste your time. You know, it's a good looking game. It is sparse, but it has a lot of detail in these sparse environments. I mean, it's good. It's good. So anyway, let's go on to our next subject, the sound. Everything ranging from the soundtrack, which is amazing soundtrack. I mean, it's really good. I want that fucking, album or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But not only that, the sound effects are really cool. They're crisp, they're very detailed. They have all the meatiness that you would look forward to. But I think the psychological effects of the sound, when you get your S ranking and stuff like that, that's really cool. Definitely makes you feel like, I've accomplished something. The voice acting, these characters, which I'll go into later, they can only work with what they had, and sometimes you get some brilliant flashes of acting skills, because these actors are top notch, but it's really the script, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Next, we got gameplay, and this is a huge topic here. Now, there was a lot of, this is the longest segment of the video, but there were a lot of, things that they could have done. It has a lot of potential. I'll talk about the potential after this, but just to keep everything flowing and going, I mean, there are a lot of things within this game that is just an absolute no-no when you create games. And honestly, like, the dude Kojima, he needs an editor. He straight up needs an editor. There's a lot of ideas kind of like thrown together, and it's like he was hoping for something to stick, or he just didn't want to cut things out, or he didn't know what direction the game was going to go. That's not good for somebody that's a legendary. He calls himself a legendary game director and things like that. It was just stupid things. One of the things I really hated the most, and someone else confirmed it too, is the cumbersome UI. There's a lot of subsystems within this game, and I guess it made the UI convoluted. It was just way too much shit going on with the UI. I couldn't. I was like, am I fucking retarded? Am I retarded? You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't grasping it. The flow of the game is really bad too. We're not talking about the beginning. because to me personally, the game falls apart at the end of the game. So it went from an 8.5 to me to a 7, because of how the game started to progress. And I was not feeling that shit, honestly. Um, Mechanics that they had, throwing mechanics, you know what I'm saying? So they had this thing where you swing, right? But when you let go of the swing, that's when he starts to throw the item. Just shit like that. It's just unnecessary. There was a lot of, and again, once again, we talk about editors. He needs an editor, plain and simply put. It's just way, way, way too many things. Some things didn't need to be in the game. The controls for, or the way you control your reticule when you're shooting and things like that, it's just absolutely atrocious. It's really, really bad. And this is coming from Horizon Zero Dawn, which had pin perfect, aiming within there. I mean, it, oh gosh, I want to really talk about the story, because the story, once again, that's another piece that's convoluted, and there's some things that could have been, definitely cut. The game takes, honestly, about 15 hours before it really gets into the meat and potatoes of things. I mean, it's a new idea, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Like I said before, it's a whole bunch of ideas put together that he may have wanted to put in many different games. It feels like he wanted to do a Metal Gear Solid, but then, he didn't want to stray from it, what I mean, want to have his cake and eat it too. Lastly, the thing that I want to talk about is the difficulty within the game. Now, all of the subsystems make the game difficult because you're like, I have to remember all of these things, from the throwing mechanics, from the UI, the timefall forecast, shit like that. It's too much. You have the AI that's completely stupid. And I think that he dumbed everything down, not because he couldn't do it, because I saw some really cool things like the AI swimming. But I think he dumbed it down because he pulled back from the difficulty because there's too much shit to go on, and maybe somebody told him like, "Yo, dude, like this is too much going on. Like you gotta like really, really, really chill from this shit." You know, I honestly, that's what I think has happened with that. You know, um, it's just one of those things where he just needed somebody to neuter a lot of the game. You know, um, lots of great ideas, just a lot of great ideas, a lot of potential. And I think that it's just, so, like, again, I cannot stress enough, somebody definitely needed to swoop in and be like, yo bro, like, I don't think this is going to work for everybody else. It's one thing, like, I feel like he felt himself so much that he thought he can do everything, the way that he did it, which really just kind of ticks me off a little bit. You know what I mean? But it was like he was afraid to push the gameplay. He had all these ideas, and to make it difficult on top of it would have probably like really, really fucked everything up. And I think he was just like, fuck it, just worry about the traveling mechanics, the moving mechanics, and everything else is like cannon fodder. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I see from this point on. So we're about to move on to our next subject, which is actually fun factor. Is it fun? I've made a video about this too. A lot of the videos that I had just in the past 4 months is specifically to Death Stranding. Is it fun? I don't know. Not because of me. I like the game. I find it highly addictive. There's a lot of cool ideas, and me personally, can look past a lot of different things. But fun is a very subjective thing. You know, go into this game. I will say this: go into this game and understand that this is a new age platformer. It's a platformer. If you do anything else, if you try to do, like, think about anything else, you're going to be disappointed. It's not a Metal Gear Solid game. It's not an action adventure. It's an adventure platformer. I guess you can call it that too. So as long as you jump into the fray with that information, then that's what I believe personally. You will have a better experience. You have to understand the game before you can go out and judge the game point blank. Let's talk about potential. A couple of things that I want to go over, and I try to make this as quick as possible. Like, again, I don't want to waste anybody's time, so that's why I have the video very short like this. Point blank period. The momentum that you have when you carry these packages and just the vehicles and encumbrance and all of that stuff, I feel like that needs to be separate, and that goes along with the flow of the game. The storyline, again, this game is very metaphorical. So a lot of things you can't take at face value. Even though you're experiencing it, you really can't take it at face value because this game is meant to be a metaphor. That's just the type of game it is and what he was trying to craft. There's a lot of names and stuff like that Die Hartman and Mama and all these other things. They're all metaphors for real life things. But the potential, what I would do if I was Kojima, honestly, I would, if you're carrying equipment and the actual package simulator portion of the game, have it completely change once you deliver the package. Make it become a third person shooter at that point in time, if you understand what I'm saying. If he would have done it that way and just have it real clean with the aiming and the weapons and shit like that, and yes, if you kill somebody, bad shit happens. You know what I'm saying? But that's up to the developer to kind of like fix that into a story or whatever the case is. But that's what I would have. Carrying is one game mechanic, and then it switches as soon as you drop all of your fucking equipment into a game that people could absorb better because it's a new idea, and that's how I feel. That's the end of my review. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video, and have a great day. It's been a long time coming for this game. Peace out.